Okay, so picture this. You step into a forest, and it's dense, really dense. The trees are so thick, the light barely filters down to the path.
And path is maybe generous, right? It's more suggestive.
Totally. It keeps splitting, fragmenting, leading you absolutely nowhere you recognize.
And there's a feeling in the air.
Yeah, heavy, like it's pressing in. And even though it's quiet, you just feel like there are eyes watching you, unseen.
That sensation, it's quite potent.
That whole feeling, that kind of dream. It probably sounds familiar, doesn't it? Maybe it pops up when you're going through, I don't know, big changes.
Or times of real uncertainty, yeah. Or sometimes it just arrives completely out of the blue.
Right, that recurring thing, being lost in the woods in a dream. It feels like it's getting at something deep down, something unconscious.
Well, what's so striking about that imagery, I think, is how well it captures a really basic inner tension.
Okay.
The forest itself, that maze-like space. It often mirrors our own internal landscape, where our deepest desires kind of run up against our limits, our fears. Okay, so it's like a stage, almost, for this internal drama.
Precisely. That constant push and pull between what we really want and what we think we can have, or what we should have.
Yeah. So in the dream forest, you get this really urgent feeling, like a longing for something. Maybe a new path, a different way to be.
But then, almost at the same time,
there's that feeling of hitting the brakes. These internal rules, anxieties kind of holding you back.
Exactly, that internal braking system. And you're caught there, right in the middle.
Just stuck, trying desperately to figure out which way to go.
And that feeling, that sort of adrift sensation, no clear path, all the confusion, that speaks directly to the anxiety underneath.
The anxiety about these inner conflicts.
Right. It's not just, oh, I'm lost in the woods. It mirrors that deeper, existential unease. Where do I fit? Am I making the right choices? That constant fear of taking the wrong turn in life.
And those moments in the dream where the path just splits, they feel so incredibly significant, like a massive choice point.
They do. But there's always that undercurrent, too, of loss. Yeah, like choosing one way means all those other possibilities just poof, gone. And that feels heavy.
It does carry weight. And think about those paths you didn't take. Maybe they aren't about instant regret, not always.
Okay.
Maybe they represent parts of yourself or potential lives that just stay unlived, unexplored.
So the emotions in the dream, like sadness or that nagging what-if feeling.
They could be echoes of those possibilities, things we haven't really acknowledged or processed.
Wow. Okay, that makes sense why this whole lost in the woods feeling pops up at so many different times in life.
Absolutely. Think about adolescence trying to figure out who you are.
Yeah, totally lost then.
Or later on, maybe a big career shift or navigating a tough relationship. That basic feeling of searching, of not being quite sure where you're headed, it's universal.
It really is.
And this brings up something important, I think. That tension between our drive for, autonomy, wanting to make our own way.
To forge your own path.
And the constraints we feel, whether they come from inside us or from the world around us.
Like fear of failing, or what other people expect.
Exactly. Those things create this powerful internal friction. And that can show up as feeling lost, directionless, stuck in the mud, so to speak.
So, okay, if we're thinking psychologically, we've got these different forces inside, right? Like our raw instincts, pure desire, Freud's id.
Primal energy, yes.
The id. And then we have that inner voice, the rules, the shoulds and shouldn'ts, the superego.
Our internalized authority figure or something.
Right. So when we dream we're lost, is that the ego struggling to mediate?
Well, it certainly reflects that ongoing negotiation. In our waking life, the ego is working hard, consciously trying to balance these drives.
Trying to keep things stable.
Yes. But in dreams, when that conscious control relaxes a bit, the underlying tension between those primal urges, the id, and our internal shoulds, the superego, can bubble up. And it might manifest as this confusing, disorienting experience, like being lost in some bizarre landscape.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But why a forest, do you think? It seems so common. Why not, I don't know, a confusing city or a maze made of corridors?
That's a great question. What's really key about the forest symbol, I believe, is its inherent duality.
Duality? How so?
Well, on one hand, it's mysterious, unknown, maybe even dangerous, right? Things lurking unseen.
Okay, yeah, the scary part.
But on the other hand, it's also a place of incredible potential, discovery, new life, new growth.
Right. Potential and possibility.
Exactly. And that duality perfectly mirrors how we often feel about our own deepest desires.
How do you mean?
Our desires can promise excitement, fulfillment, something new, but they also trigger anxiety, don't they? About stepping into the unknown, facing risks.
Yeah, that fear of the new.
So the forest becomes this really potent symbol for that internal frontier, that edge between safety and the allure of the unknown within ourselves.
Okay, so it's not like one dream of being lost equals one specific meaning. That would be too simple.
Oh, definitely not. Dream interpretation is rarely, if ever, a simple one-to-one thing. It's much more layered.
So one image, like the lost forest, could mean multiple things at once.
Precisely. For one person, maybe the main feeling is that fear of messing up, of not meeting expectations. For someone else, it might be more about a deep longing for freedom, for independence that feels blocked somehow.
Right.
And very often, these different threads, these different meanings are all woven together in the same dream. It reflects just how complex our inner lives really are.
So this recurring dream, being lost, it's really not just about getting your bearings wrong in the dream world.
Not fundamentally, no.
It's digging into these deeper anxieties, these clashes between what we instinctively want and what we feel we should do. And just the sheer difficulty of navigating all the choices we face.
It's almost like our unconscious mind is using this incredibly powerful, evocative imagery.
To try and tell us something important.
Exactly. To communicate something that maybe we're not consciously acknowledging.
So if we connect this to just, understanding ourselves better, paying attention to these kinds of recurring dreams could actually give us some real insights.
Profound insights, potentially. They can shine a light on the areas where we feel most shaky, most uncertain.
And maybe desires we didn't even realize we had, or were pushing down.
Yes, the desires we might be unknowingly suppressing, and the internal conflicts that are creating the most sort of static or tension in our lives.
So these dreams are like whispers from the unconscious.
That's a lovely way to put it. Whispers guiding us perhaps towards greater self-awareness.
It's like that dream forest then, with all its confusing paths and turns.
Yeah.
It's always there, isn't it? An inner landscape reflecting our deepest stuff.
It is. It's part of our internal architecture.
But maybe by actually tuning in, by listening to these dreams, we can start to, read the map a little better, even if it's still confusing.
Exactly right. And that newfound understanding, even if it doesn't magically clear all the paths and make everything simple.
Which it probably won't.
No, probably not. But it can fundamentally change how you experience the journey. You might become more aware of the forces inside you shaping your choices.
Like noticing the fears that usually stop you.
Or recognizing the underlying longings that are truly driving you forward.
And it's not just about thinking about the dream afterwards, like, okay, what did that mean? It goes beyond that.
Oh, absolutely. It's about how those insights can subtly, maybe almost imperceptibly at first, influence your waking life.
How so? Like in practical terms?
Well, what's often overlooked is how this deeper self-awareness, the kind you can get from understanding your dream symbols, can sort of ripple outwards into your everyday thoughts, your feelings, even your actions. You might find yourself making slightly different choices, maybe taking small risks you wouldn't have before.
Or just seeing patterns. Like, oh, I always do that when I feel pressured.
Exactly. Recognizing patterns in your behavior, your reactions that were maybe invisible to you before.
So it sounds less like a lightning bolt revelation and more gradual and unfolding.
That's a very good way to think about it. Like listening to a really complex piece of music.
Okay.
The first time you get the main tune, but each time you listen again, maybe you pick up on a harmony you missed or a subtle rhythm from one instrument.
Right, you notice more details over time.
Exactly. And over time, all those small discoveries build up. They create a richer, more nuanced understanding of the whole piece. It's similar with dream insights. Each one adds to a more complete picture of your inner world.
So exploring our unconscious through dreams isn't like solving a puzzle where you find the one right answer and you're done.
Not at all. It's much more like an ongoing dialogue, a conversation with yourself that never really ends.
Because the unconscious isn't just sitting there static.
Precisely. It's dynamic. It's constantly responding to your life, your experiences. It evolves as you evolve. So it's a continuous exploration, not a problem with a final solution.
So you kind of have to embrace the ambiguity, the complexity.
I think embracing that is key, actually. It allows for a deeper and maybe more compassionate understanding of yourself.
Which loops us back to this idea that we're not fixed beings. We're always changing, being shaped by all these forces inside and out.
Constantly in flux, yes.
So as we think about that,
Hmm.
that huge unknowable forest inside us, the unconscious, what's the takeaway?
Well, perhaps it invites a final thought, a reflection for you. That inner forest, with all its mystery, all its complexity, it's always there within you, and it offers its own kind of guidance, its own wisdom, if you're willing to actually pay attention.
So the next step might just be pausing.
Maybe just that. Pause. Acknowledge that it's there, and try to listen a little more closely, a little more intently to those ongoing whispers from deep inside.
And see where they might lead.
You might be surprised by the direction they subtly begin to suggest if you're open to hearing them.